Hello GGP junior coaches, welcome back to another Team Builder tutorial. Today we're going to be going over programming within a calendar, including assigning session breaks, warm-ups, SAQ plus C, as well as lifts. So first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and select calendar. From this view we can see that we need to select the calendar. You see here over on the left hand side a full calendar where we can select days, as well as some calendar actions such as load, save, copy, clear, workouts, share, week view, and sidebar. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select the calendar. We're going to select the forwards calendar that we were previously working on. So this forwards calendar, you can see here, is blank. First thing I like to do is I like to go to the week view. It gives me a better visualization of what my week looks like and what the athlete's week will look like. And we're going to go ahead to today's date and we're going to add an exercise. First thing we should do when we're looking to add an exercise is we should assign our sessions. So we go ahead and we assign session break. This allows our athletes to understand what we're achieving within a certain period of time within our workout. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit warm up here and we're going to add that to our workout. We're also going to add some structure work. We're going to add some sprint work. And we're also going to assign some strength work. We've gone ahead and we've added these to a workout. This is currently what we see now. We can also add a title if we'd like. So I'll just add in here and I'll add in tutorial. And we'll hit the check mark and we'll go ahead and we'll start filling in our exercises. So of course you want to be able to reference back to our communication sheet that's associated with the team that you're working on, and you want to work from there when assigning these workouts to your athletes. So referencing back to our communication sheet, we're going to go ahead and add exercises. The first thing we're going to add is we're going to add our warm-up. So our warm-up here, you can select here, and we have a full exercise library of warm-ups provided, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our FBM. You can see here I search FBM and I see a result come up, and within this selection there's a full description of what our FBM is. You can see here you can edit this if you choose to add something in or take something out. You can also assign a video URL. You can change the saved video or the document that's associated with it. And you can also link this document to a folder. This is associated to our main directory. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add this to our workout. Now if we exit out, we can see that our FBM has been added to our workout, and we're just going to select the little icon here and we're going to slide that up underneath of our warm-up. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to assign some structure work. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our lift category and we're going to start searching for a name. So we're going to add in a squat hold here, and you can see I start to search squat and squat hold comes right up. We're going to go ahead, we're going to select the sets. We're going to do 2 sets, and we can either select reps or we can select time. Here I'm going to select time. I'm going to say that they're going to do it for 60 seconds. If you have an exercise that may be unilateral, you can go ahead and select each side. You can also provide your athletes with additional information. So I'm going to put in here squat hold, and I'm going to say that rock back and forth from heels to toes. If I want that to be an emphasis for this workout, I can go ahead, add that additional information so that the athletes are aware that that's what I'm looking for in this particular squat hold. We can also assign a workout grouping, whether we want that to be a part of our A, B, C, D, etc. series. This is going to be part of our A series of our structure work. So I'm going to go ahead and select A. If there is a tempo associated with the lift, we could put that here. For now, we'll leave that blank since we're doing a hold. And you can also assign rest time that you can set between sets. We'll save that for our next movement to be able to assign that. From here, you can also select how the athlete can input the data. So you can select that it can be a completion lift where the athlete just says that they've completed it. They can put a body weight lift where they input the number of seconds in this case. You can also put it as coach completion if you want to be able to manually go in and put the completion and you don't want your athletes to have that option. You can also, if we were doing a lift, you could disable max tracking, which I'll talk about that later, as well as your force max / PR update. You could also assign bar speed, peak power, and then you can also assign to track rep count or the volume load. We don't need to do that for this movement, so we're going to go ahead. We're just going to go add to workout. And we're going to add another structure movement here. And we're going to add some dislocates. You can see that pops up. We're actually going to do single arm dislocates. And once again, we're going to assign 2 sets. We'll say they're going to do 5 sets or 5 reps per side. And you can see here that each side has already been selected based off of how we put this exercise into our exercise library. You can add additional information once again. We're going to keep this in workout group 1 or A, and then we can assign a tempo. So let's say we want them to take it nice and slow. We're just going to do a 3-1-1 tempo, and then we can now assign the rest time. We now know that this is our last movement of our superset, so we can go ahead and we can assign the rest time here before their next set. And we'll just say that they're going to rest for 60 seconds here before they return back to their squat hold. We're going to assign this as a completion lift, and that's about it we need to select for this. We'll go ahead and add to workout, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to drag these underneath of the structure session break. Moving forward, we're going to actually add in one more structure workout so I can show you how to change the grouping and what that looks like. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some calf raises. In these calf raises, we're going to do 2 sets. We're going to do it for time. We'll go ahead, we'll do 30 seconds. We're going to assign this to workout group B. The tempo here is just going to be 2-1-1-1. And the rest time before our next set will be 30 seconds. And once again, we have a completion lift here. And we're going to add this to our workout. Exiting out now, we see that this has a B beside it. Reading this now, we see that our structure has our A series, which would include our squat hold and our single arm dislocates, as well as our B series, which would include our calf raises. Moving forward, we're going to assign an SAQ plus C, which just stands for speed, agility, quickness, and cardio. This is useful for any field sessions that you may be doing, or if you have some sprints that you may want your athletes to perform. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do a 50-yard shuttle run. We can select the number of sets here. We'll do 2 sets. The primary input, which can be changed in the exercise library, is set to none, so it's just a completion lift. And we can add additional properties. So we can say if we wanted to add in some reps. So within our set, if we wanted to say we want them to do this 50-yard shuttle run, we'll say 2 times. We can also add in the rest per rep. So in between our reps, I'm going to get them to rest for 30 seconds. And then we can add our intensity as well. There's different types of intensity you can assign here. So say if your team is using heart rate sensors, you can assign a heart rate for the intensity. You can also do RPE, which is the perceived exertion. You can do a percentage of their intensity, or if you're doing a bike or an exercise machine that tracks watts, you can also assign watts. The hockey teams right now are using heart rate monitors, so I'm just going to assign heart rate as the intensity, and I want to say that they want to be working in 130 beats per minute. You can add additional information here. So for this 50-yard shuttle run, there's a couple different ways that you could do this. And you can split up those 50 yards. I'm going to say that we're just going to do 25 yards and back. That way the athletes are clear on how many changes of directions they need to do within this shuttle run. And then we'll go ahead and we'll assign a workout grouping. So we'll just say A here. And then now we can set the rest time. So this rest time is the rest between sets. So you can see here we have our rest per rep. We've got 2 sets, 2 reps. So you'll rest here 30 seconds between each rep, and then I'll say that we rest for 60 seconds between each set. Additionally here, you can choose completion only, which is linked to this primary input. You could also check the box for coach completion, so that you are actually manually completing it after you see the athletes do it. You can also add in pacing, so you can set pacing here. There's a couple of pre-made pacing here that you can select from. I'm going to leave this blank. So I can go ahead and I can add to workout. I'm going to exit out here, and we're just going to move this up under the sprint category. And the last category we're going to go over here is strength. So we're going to go to add exercise. We're going to select lift, and we're going to add our exercise name. So we're just going to do a barbell RDL. You can see here the barbell RDL comes right up. And you can see here also there's a video associated with this barbell RDL. So within the exercise library, you can assign a video if you'd like your athletes to be aware of what you're actually looking for. You can either create these videos and upload them to YouTube and pick the link that you want to assign, or you can look through YouTube and find a video that maybe somebody else has uploaded, and you can assign that video URL to this exercise. There's tons of resources out there, so I'm sure you could find something. If we click the video here, we can see that Team Buildr has actually made their own video to be able to demonstrate the RDL. Go ahead and exit out here. We're going to do 3 sets of the RDLs, and we're going to do 4 reps. And we're going to assign this to workout grouping A. And our tempo here, we're going to look for some long eccentrics. So we're going to go 6-1-1-1 tempo. And we're going to say that we want them to rest for 45 seconds before getting into their next set. You can see here that we could add it as a completion lift. We won't do that so that they can input their weights. And then we can also disable max tracking. If this was a week where you didn't want the max to be affected by the barbell RDL, whether that's because you were doing, say, a really long tempo and you don't want, when we return to a faster tempo, for the max to be lower than normal, or if you wanted it to, say, be a deload week where they're using lighter weights and you didn't want that to affect their predicted max, you could select this box and it would disable max tracking here. If, say, you're doing a testing session and you want the max or the PR to be updated based on the results they get here, you could select this box and then that will update their force max or their PR to be what they enter this week. Additionally, if you're using a Tendo unit or something that tracks bar speed, you could add this option where you can add in the meters per second or the peak power. For right now, we're just going to hit disable max tracking. And we also have our track rep count selected as well as our track volume load. This is a way for you to be able to audit your programs to see if over time maybe your rep count is changing or your volume load, which is just a measure of the weight times the reps times the set to be able to track how much volume you're doing, but also takes into account the load that you're doing as well. So we're going to leave those selected. We're going to hit add to workout, and we're going to add in another exercise. We're going to add in a barbell bench press. You can see it comes up here. Once again, there's a video associated. This one is from OPEX. We're going to do 3 sets. We're going to do a custom. So if you want your sets to have different rep ranges, we could do that as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll do custom reps, and we'll work in the 5 rep range, and we'll say we want to do 6 to 8 for our next, and then we'll do 10 for our last set. Something along those lines. You can do that here. I will note that Team Buildr does allow you to set rep ranges. That way your athlete can manually input how many reps they've completed of the exercise. If you want to just leave it at 1 rep, you can just, or 1 reps option, you can just put it here, and your athletes can still go ahead. Say if they only got 5 reps at the weight that they thought that they could get 6, they can edit the reps within Team Buildr as well. We'll change this back to 6 to 8. And this workout grouping will be part of workout grouping B. This tempo, we'll stick with the eccentrics. We'll go 6-1-1-1. And you can see here, we're going to disable max tracking again. And the track rep count and volume load is still up. And we'll go ahead and we'll add this to our workout. Last thing we're going to add is we're going to go ahead and add a single arm dumbbell row. We'll go ahead and add that here. And we're going to do 3 sets, 5 reps, and we're going to do each side, okay, because this is a single arm or a unilateral movement. Here you see that we have a load off or a percentage button as well. So the load, you can assign a specific load to your athletes. So if you wanted your athletes to do 45 pounds for all 3 of their sets, you could do so, and you could assign that. Say if you wanted them to do 45 their first set, 50 their second set, and 55 their third set, you could go ahead and do that as well. We're going to turn this off for now because I want to talk about the percentage. And if we see here, if we turn percentages on, you can assign custom percentages here, which will give them a percent that they should be working at. If the exercise is set up to track their max, then this will automatically assign them a weight based on their estimated 1 rep max, and then using this custom percentage that you assign them, it will give them the weight based on the percent as well as their estimated 1 rep max. We'll go ahead, we'll keep this on, and then we'll move on here. We'll assign this to B. We'll say 611 tempo again, and the rest time between sets, we'll set this to 45, and we'll disable max tracking once again. And we'll go ahead, we'll add this to our workout, and we'll exit out here. And you can see now that we've got our workout here with the title, session breaks stating the warm-up. The FBM is within that warm-up. We've got our session breaks saying structure, as well as our structure movements that we want the athletes to perform. You can see here 2 by 60 seconds of the squat hold, as well as 2 by 5 each of the single arm dislocates, 2 by 30 seconds of the calf raises in the B series. And then in our sprints, we see that we have a 50-yard shuttle run, 2 sets, 25 yards and back is the additional information that we added for the athletes. And you can see here our strength. We have our barbell RDL in our A series, 3 by 4. Then we see here in our B series, we have our barbell bench press, 3 by 5, then 6 to 8, then 10, as well as our single arm dumbbell rows, 3 by 5 each side. That's the conclusion of our workout calendar programming section. Keep tuned for our exercise library in case you run into the situation where you're looking to add an exercise. Say I wanted to add in a Cossack with elevated front foot. And you can see here that it says add Cossack with elevated front foot. I'm going to walk you guys through that in the next video. That way you know how to add an exercise. Thank you.